We'll start the prayers. Om Bhadram Karane Shruniyama Devaha Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraha Shirairangaihi Sushtubhagam Sastanubihi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vrittashrava Swasti na Pusha Vishvaveda Swasti nastakshorarishthanemihi Swasti no brihaspatirdhatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We are studying Shankara Bashyam of Mandukya Upanishad. We are doing the Kārikas. These are commentaries by Gaudapada Acharya on the 7th mantra. We have finished the 10th and 11th Kārikas, and today we will be doing the 12th Kārikā. These commentaries are on the 7th mantra. The entire Mandukya Upanishad analyzes our three states of consciousness: waking, dream, sleep. Throughout, it's a very intensive study, very deep study. And as you go through these commentaries, you will find how deep our rishis have been able to study these three states. They not only studied what happens in the three states, they formulated certain principles for the future students like us. By studying those principles on which the three states are based, we can understand the real goal of the Mandukya Upanishad. The real goal is I must realize my nature as pure consciousness, without the body, without the mind, without the universe. That is the ultimate goal. Now, today, I have a conditioned mind. The conditioned mind has to undergo a change, a transformation. The transformation can come only with the help of knowledge. Our problem is ignorance. The solution is knowledge. Knowledge is available only in the Shastra. Therefore, the study of the Shastra is critical for a seeker. In the 10th Kārikā, Gaudapada said that consciousness is the nature of Turiya. Consciousness means awareness. And this consciousness is ever changeless. Throughout our life, we are this consciousness. But I don't know. What the Upanishad says is, we get experiences of waking, dream, and sleep. We think that we are the body. Because I don't know I am the ever existing consciousness, I have a misconception about myself. This misconception is what we are trying to analyze in the 12th mantra. In the 11th mantra, we have analyzed certain principles were revealed. What is ignorance? How does this ignorance express itself? So 10th mantra is purely trying to tell us that there is a changeless nature of ours. Knowing this changeless Turiyam is moksha. The 11th Kārikā talks about the three states of sleep, waking, and dream. It said that the sleep state is a causal state. It is the cause because sleep means I am ignorant about my real nature as Turiya. This is called as Mula Avidya, ignorance. So there are two expressions of Maya. Maya means it is a power which is there in this body mind complex. So when we go to sleep, there is an ignorance about us as well as about Turiyam, about our real nature. Both the ignorances are there. It doesn't know itself. It doesn't know that there exists another higher self. Then Gaudapada introduced two words, agrahanam, anyata grahanam. It is the same as avaranam and Vikshepa. We have studied avaranam and Vikshepa when we studied Tattva, and we said that Maya consists of two powers, which is avaranam and Vikshepa. The same avaranam is given another name, agrahanam. I don't understand, I don't know anything in the sleep state. That is the causal nature of all of us. Now, because I don't know my real nature, when I wake up, when the body mind wakes up for this prarabdha karma, actions and benefits, a mistake happens. The mistake is I project I am a waker, dreamer, sleeper. I am this temporary, incidental body-mind complex. Now, this notion is called as anyatha grahanam. I project something which is not true. I here means the mind. In the 12th mantra, we are going to study today, it says that this Turiyam is untouched by whatever is experienced by the Vishwa, Taijasa, and Prajna, by the waker, dreamer, and sleeper. So now let me go to the 12th mantra. This 12th mantra is a further description of the sleep state. We have said the sleep state is the Karana. It is the Karanam, it is the cause of the waking and dream. Now, this is a revelation of the Upanishad and Gaudapada. Normally speaking, we will not take that the sleep state is a cause and so on. You see, our normal understanding is we go to sleep for rest. And then again, the body is at rest. And we wake up every day morning and go through our experiences. Nobody tells us that the sleep state is a causal nature. And the cause means it is a cause of ignorance. The cause there is ignorance of the Turiya avastha. There are two things to understand here. First of all, I should understand what is a sleep state. Then I should understand that there is something which is beyond the sleep state, which is called as Turiyam, which is called as pure consciousness. Now, what Shankaracharya and God is saying in this paragraph 153, he says, this Turiyam is not affected by not recognizing the real nature. It is not affected. It always is unaffected. Whether the superimposition is there or not, this Turiyam is never affected. Therefore, Turiyam never changes. Nirvikara Sarupa. So the 12th Kārikā is basically an explanation of the 11th Kārikā, the second line. Here, what it is a contrast which is explained between Turiya and the sleep state. We are going to study this in a greater detail as we go by. The sleep state is associated with Mula Avidya. It is bhava. That means there is a bhava, there is a feeling that I don't know anything. That means there is a vritti. In higher text, it is said that I don't know anything is a vritti. And this vritti is known like other vrittis in the waking state. For example, I get a notion, I keep thinking about so many things. So the Sakshi is aware of the thoughts in the mind. In some higher text, it is said that this ignorance itself is a thought, causal ignorance. What is the thought in the sleep state? I don't know anything. I don't know myself. I don't know anything in the universe. Now, this is what the Veda takes up for big analysis. And it says that there is a something which you don't know about yourself, and that is Bhavarup. Now, what is the difference between sleep and the pure consciousness? That is what we are going to see now in the following slides. Sleep state has got ignorance. So whenever I go to sleep, I always say I don't know anything. But Turiyam does not have ignorance and it does not have projections. See, in the waking state, my mind keeps on projecting. In the sleep state, the mind is ignorant. There is a third higher state which is called as Turiyam. Turiyam is a higher nature. Compared to the waker and the dreamer and the sleeper, which are relative states, Turiyam is an absolute state. There is no ignorance, there is no Vikshepa. In Vishwa, waker and dreamer, there is both. There is ignorance as well as Vikshepa. Try to get this point because this point is very important. When your mind dwells on the three states, you must be able to analyze it in this way. Mind in waking has got ignorance and projections. In the sleep state, it has got only ignorance. In the real state, which is there, which is my real Swarupam, there is no ignorance and there is no projection. So this is a very, very important mantra for self-realization and contemplation. So make a note of it. The 12th mantra, the 12th Kārikā, is an important Kārikā for technical reasons because many times we don't know what is this Turiyam, how to understand Turiyam correctly. This mantra gives you a very clear picture that there is something which is there and it is something which I should know as my real Swarupa. Now, if it is my real nature, wouldn't you be interested to know this? Therefore, as you learn this verse itself, your knowledge about your own self suddenly changes. Now, why does a jiva have bondage? Jiva has bondage because he doesn't know the truth of his real nature. So in the next paragraph, Shankaracharya says, Prajna does not know anything of the truth. Neither it knows the truth, neither it knows the untruth. Prajna knows anything of the self, does not know anything of the self or the non-self. You see, in the state of sleep, I don't know I am a waker. I don't know I was a dreamer. In this sleep, in the dream, in the sleep state, I don't know I am Turiya also. Even though Turiya is all the time there, it is Sarvadrik. Sarvadrik means it is ever the Sakshi. That is the nature of this Turiya. Let me play this verse number 12.
नात्मानं न परंश्चैव नात्मानं न परंश्चैव न सत्यं नापि चानृतम् न सत्यं नापि चानृतम् प्राज्ञः किञ्चन संवेत्ति प्राज्ञः किञ्चन संवेत्ति तुर्यं तत्सर्वदृक् सदा तुर्यं तत्सर्वदृक् सदा.
Here the most important word is the last word. Turiyam tat sarvadrik sada. Very, very important word. Keep a note of it. It is defines this whole verse. Sarvadrik. Sarvadrik means it is the seer of everything because there is only one consciousness in this entire universe. And it is always knowing itself and it knows everything which comes in its context. Prajna knows nothing. See, now the difference is between the sleeper and the Prajna and the Turiya. Sleeper does not know anything, but Turiya is always the seer consciousness. It is never touched by ignorance. Ignorance and knowledge cannot be together. The moment I know I am that pure consciousness, my ignorance is gone. I am ever the seer of this body, mind, universe when it exists and when it doesn't exist also. Existence of the body, universe, and mind is incidental. It comes, it goes. This is the higher, you're standing on a higher platform. So don't try to think that I'm a baker. The baker is not the same as the Turiya. The dreamer is not the Turiyam. Sleeper is not the Turiyam. Turiyam is like the baker and the dreamer. Baker is of a higher category. He is on a higher pedestal. Turiyam is on a higher pedestal compared to the baker. I am really Turiyam beyond the sleep avastha of the mind. Mind goes through the three avasthas. See, these are technical verses which you have to understand the technicality behind the sleep state. What is the sleep state? You have to understand this. This is going very deep inside your mind, dissection of your own mind and its functions. Mind functions in this way of projecting the dream world. Mind functions in the way of becoming passive. The mind functions of waking up. Those three functions of the mind are different than the I, the Turiya. So again and again, there is an analysis of a waker Ajnani and the sleeper Ajnani. Ajnani means what? The person who doesn't know. The waker Ajnani is with the bird of objects. The sleeper Ajnani, he doesn't know that he can exist independently. Now, see, this is where the knowledge of Veda helps us to gain moksha. Moksha can be gained only when we drop the identification of body mind. But before I drop the identification, I should know there is a Turiya. That Turiyam is an Adhishtanam. It is the ground from where these entire states come and go. Atma na samveti. Atma na samveti means here Atma means sleeper. The sleeper does not know Turiyam. The sleeper does not know anything else also. There is no self-knowledge and there is no other knowledge of a waker and the waking world. All of us experience because we are all Turiyam by nature. We experience the knowledge of the world. At the same time, we experience the ignorance of the world. Let it strike you again and again. Only then you will understand the nature of Turiyam. Turiyam reveals ignorance and knowledge. Ignorance in the sleep state, knowledge in the waking and free. Na satyam na apicha anrutam. Sleeper doesn't know the Satya Atma, Turiya Atma. Sleeper does not know the unreal Mithya, Vishwa, and Taijasa and Prajna, which is Anatma. Waker, dreamer, sleeper together is called as Anatma. Turiyam is called as Atma. So why this happens? Because the sleeper is associated with ignorance. It is bhava rupam. It is not abhava rupam. We have studied in the previous Kārikā. Now, both Prajna and Turiyam are not associated with anything. Is it the same? That is what is the analysis we are trying to see. Is there any difference between Prajna and Turiyam? In both the cases, what is the common factor? Common factor is that there is ajnanam. In the case of, they don't experience anything, neither in Turiyam, neither in Prajna. Now, in Prajna, it is associated with what? The sleeper is associated with the ignorance of Turiya, the higher nature. What about Turiyam now? Turiyam is associated with nothing. Neither Prakriti, neither Maya, it is not associated with anything in the universe. And that is why it is called as Karana Karya Vilaksha. Asangaha. Asangaha refers to Turiyam. It doesn't have any relationship. Neither with the body, neither with the mind, neither with the avasthas, neither with the entire cosmos. It alone is. It is not associated with ajnanam or adhyasa. Adhyasa means misconceptions. Ajnana means it is ignorance. Now, here in this verse, it is said it is sarvadrik. Now, drik means what? It is a seer. And it says sarvadrik. What is the meaning of sarvam here? Sarvam means it is the seer of two conditions. Of the wakeful condition of the mind, when it can see the world, and the sleep condition of the mind, when the world is not experienced by the jiva. Very important to note, this particular Sarvadrik is a very important concept of Vedanta, which no other philosopher agrees. He doesn't know, he doesn't accept this concept. The Turiyam is free from all the prapanchas. That is why we say that the world is an appearance. Like the waker, see, whenever you want to understand Turiya, you always try to compare between waker and dream. Now, waker doesn't have anything of the dream world. Nothing. But he is there as soon as he wakes up. Similarly, Turiyam, as soon as the Jiva understands in his own mind, I am the Turiyam, immediately the entire waking is taken as Mithya experience. It is an appearance. It comes and goes, but it is not real. It is not existing all the time. Okay. Now the Kārikā number 12 is a long commentary by Shankaracharya. He says in the next paragraph, he says, the waker and the dreamer, they know themselves. They know the external objects. See how deeply Shankaracharya goes into the analysis of the waking dream sleep. See, so many paragraphs after paragraphs. There are 225 Kārikas written just for the three states. The whole of Mandukya Upanishad is only analyzing waking dream, sleep, and Turiya. And in any of these commentary written by Shankaracharya, it is only we are discussing these three states and the ultimate state called as the Turiya. Now, Prajna is supposed to be the seed for ignorance. Now, it projects the external duality, which means the Sthula Shariram, Sukshma Shariram. Therefore, Prajna is called as conditioned state. What is the conditioning? I don't understand anything of the world. Now, this is the seed. This is a seed for what? For Anyata Grahanam. You see, in the 11th verse, they had introduced two words, Agrahanam and Anyata Grahanam. The 12th verse is a elaboration of Anyata Grahanam. Now, if you have understood so far, you should be able to understand this. The Waker Vishwa has got Karanam and Karyam. He is the cause of many things. He is a cause, the Waker is a cause, and Waker is also a Karyam. He is a Karyam with reference to the Prajna. With reference to the waking world, he is a Karanam for so many things. Similarly, Taijasa is a dreamer. He is also associated with what? Cause and effect. Prajna is associated only with Karana, which is the Ajnana. Turiyam has got no Ajnanam and no projections also. No Ajnanam, no Vikshepa. Neither Agrahanam, neither Anyata Grahanam. That is how Shankaracharya is trying to explain. Anyata Grahana means adhyasa, appearance, superimposition. That means the entire waking experience is an appearance on consciousness. We have seen this many times. But here, Shankaracharya goes very deep to analyze how this superimposition takes place. Okay, so this is what is the deeper analysis of the three states with reference to the Agrahanam and Anyataka. Now, we are talking about one entity, not four entities on different chairs. You have Vishwa, Waker, Dreamer. Three chairs are there. You put Waker in one chair, Dreamer in another chair, Sleeper in another chair. And then Turiyam is an empty chair. So Shankaracharya says these are, you don't try to understand waker, dreamer, sleeper as independently existing states. He says Turiyam is there common in all the states. Turiyam is called as Vishwa, Turiyam is called as Taijasa, Turiyam is called as Prajna. It is the same Turiyam which is appearing as the waker, dreamer, sleeper, and the waker has got the waking world, dreamer has got the dream world, and the sleeper has got ignorance. So, that is the reason we say it is Advaitam. You see, in the seventh mantra, there is a word called Advait. Why does the Upanishad says an Advaitam? It says Advaitam because it wants us to understand it is this Thurium which is of a higher nature. By itself, it doesn't have anything, but because of superimposition of the three states, it appears to be a waker, dreamer, sleeper. But these appearances you have to drop when you are trying to understand your own nature. These are all very deep analysis of our real nature. If you want to know, if you want to get moksha, if you want to get rid of sorrow in life, these are the things which we should understand in our intellect. They are very, very deep. We are going deep into our mind. We are trying to understand the functioning of the mind. How does the mind function in the three states? Very, very deep analysis. If you understand this, then you can be a great psychologist. You can do very well in psychology because you know the whole vision of this world. How Turiya is associated with the four states, and it is also not associated with the four states. This is that immanent and the transcendent principle. Whenever we see the world, we say that Turiya itself is appearing. I am the Turiyam. When I am in the sleep state, I know that I am now, with the help of the Upanishad called Mandukya Upanishad, I know that whenever I sleep, I am not sleeping to my nature. I'm not sleeping to the whole world. Whole world may say I'm sleeping, but I am not sleeping. I am awake to the my soul. Yanisha Sarva Bhutana. In the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it says that when there is a night for Ajnani, Jnani doesn't sleep. It is night, then Ajnani will sleep. But for a Jnani, he is awake to his nature. And when the Jnani is awake in the daytime, the Ajnani is sleeping because when the Ajnani is in the waking state, the Jnani is sleeping because he knows that this is all mithya. So the three paras are Karyam and Karanam. They are mithya, but what is not mithya, what is Satyam is Turiyam. Mithya means what? Very important to understand the definition of mithya. Experientially, it is available. Dream is available experientially to all of us. Waking is available experientially to all of us. But factually speaking, Upanishad says neither waking, neither dream is ultimately existing. That is why you have the difference between appearance and existence. Existence means it is always there. There is only one item which is Satyam, which is existent, which is Atman. The three states are Mithya. Now, both can exist simultaneously because one is of a higher order of reality. Dream and waker, they can exist. Waker can know the dream is of a lower order of reality. Similarly, Waker should understand I am the Turiya Atma. Waking state is of a lower order of reality, like the blue sky. Experientially, it is available. But factually, it is not a blue sky, it's a transparent space. Similarly, dream, waking, experientially available. The light on the moon is not of the moon, it is the light of the sun reflecting on the moon. Experientially, we see the sunrise, we see the moonlight. But factually, in our own intellect, we understand that it is not the sunlight, it is not the moonlight, but it is the sunlight. The earth is not stationary, earth is moving. It's a factual knowledge which we keep in our intellect. Similarly, we keep in our intellect the two waking state and dream state. Factually, it is an appearance only. What is Satyam is I, the Turiya Atma, am Satyam. So when we have this Mithya and Satyam, we can easily drop or include. We can say it is transcendent, we can say it is immanent. That is why Advaita Vedanta has coined a new word called as Mithya. When you include that Mithya in I, it is our experience. When you exclude the Mithya, it is a fact. Chapter 9, fourth verse, Bhagavad Gita. Mastani sarva bhutani. The world is in me. I am including mithya world in consciousness. Nacha mastani, the fifth verse. Nacha mastani bhutani. I exclude the mithya world from consciousness. I alone am. They are not in me. I am Satyam. Very, very delicate path. Very, very, it's like a razor's edge. Kathopanishad says this. Advaita Vedanta is a very, very delicate path on which you have to walk in order to reach your ultimate destination. Sagunam Brahma, Nirgunam Brahma are two names of one consciousness. One consciousness. Bhagavan always is both. He can exist without the world, he is existing with the world. When he exists with the world, I call it here is Bhagavan. I can see Bhagavan everywhere. The 10th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, I am all the vibhutis which you can see in the world is all me only. Bhagavan can say this because he is both immanent and transcendent. When he says there's nothing is there in me, I am transcendent, Nirguna Swarupa. So even I have the same nature. I here means I, the consciousness in this body, not the body. I'm not talking of the body independently. Not talking of the mind independently. I'm talking of the indweller consciousness. When I include in I the gross body, Sthula Sharira, I am called Vishwa, the waker. When I, the consciousness, the Turiyam, include the Sukshma Shariram, the mind, I am called Taijasa, the dreamer. When I, consciousness, the Turiyam, identify with the Karana Shariram in the sleep state, I am called Prajna. The same I without the three Sharirams, under Prapanchas, under world, is called as Nirguna Chaitanyam Turiyam. That Nirguna Chaitanyam is Satyam. It is Nirupadikam. There is no Upadi. Upadi means medium. It is mediumless. But how do I understand it? Not physically. In my intellectually, I am able to negate all this three and own up Turiyam as my nature. What about the waker, dreamer, sleeper? It is mithya, it is appearance, it is as good as they are in me all the time. At the same time, I can say they are not in me at all because it is mithya. At any time, the waker can say the dream world was there in me. He can associate with the dream world. And immediately he can say, no, 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 the dream world is never in me. He can make both the statements. So similarly, the Turiya, can make both the statements. I am a waker, dreamer, sleeper, which is together called as the ego. See, many times people ask question in the Q&A, how to drop this ego? This is the way to drop the ego. Unless you have this knowledge of the pure I, which is without the you can never drop your ego. Ego is already automatically available in the three states. You cannot, wakerhood is there in all the waking state. But I know now how to remove this wakerhood. नैव किञ्चित् करोमीति युक्तो मन्येते तत्त्ववित् पश्यन् शृण्वन् स्पृशन् जिघ्रन्. This is one of the favorite verses of mine. Chapter 9, 4 and 5, chapter 5, 8 and 8 and 9. Chapter 5, 8 and 9 is also a very, very important verse where it says, when the waking state itself is going on, I can say I don't do anything. I am Karta, Abhokta, Atma. Why? Because I am identified with my higher nature, which is Turiya. Sarvakarmani manasa sanyaste sukham vashi navadvare purvedehi naiva kurvannakare. As Atma, I can say this. A jnani who is totally controlled in his mind, he can say, I am always the disembodied self. The nine gates belong to the body. The jiva who is identified with this body, he has got the nine gates. But I am not identified with this nine gates. Neither that I am a karta, neither I am a bhokta. न कर्तृत्वं न कर्माणि लोकस्य सृजति प्रभो न कर्मफलं संयोगम् स्वभावस्तु प्रवर्तते. These are all very, very important mantras of Bhagavad Gita. When you study them in this context of the 12th Kārikā, you get special meaning out of that. There is no, see, once you know I'm Turiyam only, then all these mantras make sense to me. I see from everything here and now. Right now, I can claim I am the Turiya Atma. I am free from Ajnanam. Why am I free from Ajnanam, ignorance? Because I have studied Mandukya Upanishad, the seventh mantra. I can boldly claim the Bhagavad Gita, the fifth chapter, eighth verse, and the ninth verse. This Turiya is never contaminated by any action I do. I am always actionless and I don't have Avidya. This is a revision slide, therefore I'm just touching upon things which I have not said so far. So at the state of Turiyam, Atma does not know itself. It knows, knowing is a function of the intellect. Swarupa means it is the nature of consciousness. Paramna Veti means Prajna does not know others as well as itself. But Thuriyam is of a higher order. It is a totally different phenomena which I should realize as my own nature. This Agrahanam is the Ignorance is the seed of all misconceptions, which we have studied so far, but Shankaracharya wants to go, Gaudapada wants to study this ignorance more and more. Agrahanam, Anyata Agrahanam, this topic of ignorance and how projections take place because of ignorance, Shankaracharya feels he should give a little bit more description by telling us the nature of Turiyam is Sarvadrik. Now, in the following 2-3 paragraphs, he is going to describe the nature of Thuriyam as Sarvadrik. He will borrow the mantra from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad to explain that I am always talking about consciousness. When you study this commentary, you will get an idea about this consciousness. What is the nature of this consciousness? So, Thuriyam is actually the real nature. At all times, Thuriyam is Sarvadrik. Sarvam Chadrik. Iti Sarvadrik. In Thuriyam, there is no ignorance. There is no seed. No bijam. There is no non-recognition of the truth. Suppose you tell yourself, that is why the only way to claim moksha is to say, I am the Turiya Atma, Aham Brahmasmi, I am the pure consciousness. That is the only way available because any other way will be a projection. I know Turiyam, I know this is a projection because you are identified with the intellect which is talking about knowledge. I don't know Turiyam is also a projection because it is talking about the intellect which knows and doesn't know. Prajna, Ajnanam is there, ignorance is there. Turiyam, there is no Ajnanam, it is free from Ajnanam. But why do we say it is free from Ajnanam? Because it is Sarvadrik. The normal meaning of Sarvadrik means it is the seer of everything. But then we say it has got a special meaning here. Whenever you say it is Sarvadrik means what? You are admitting there is Dvaitam. But here it has got a special meaning. It means that there is no Dvaitam at all. It is Sarvadrik because it is the consciousness which is ever there. That is no doubt. But it is a consciousness in which there is no ignorance also. The special meaning in grammar, Sanskrit grammar, in the normal meaning it is called Tat Purusha Samasa. The special meaning is called Karmadharaya Samasa. So I'm just giving you an additional information. Don't bother too much about it. Sarvam Tatu Drikcha. That which is Drik, the nature of consciousness, it is the nature of everything. This is something, it is called Karmadharya Samasa. It is referring to the Sat principle of Turiyam. Turiyam is consciousness and existence. So far we have covered, when you look at consciousness aspect, it is Tat Purusha Samasa. When you look at consciousness as everything, as Sat, then it is called as Karmadharya Samasa. This is just an incidental point which Shankaracharya brings it out in his commentary. Chit Swarupa is Turiyam, Sat Swarupa is Turiyam. When you say it is Sat Swarupa, it is everything of the nature of existence. Everything in the world is existent. Waking state is existent. Dream state is existent. Existence doesn't belong to the state. It belongs to Turi. Consciousness itself is everything. Therefore, we say it is Advaita. See, to understand the word Advaitam is not easy. But Shankaracharya and Gaudapadacharya In the third chapter, they will take 30 to 40, I think 38 verses are there, where Advaitam is focused. We'll have a deeper study when we go to the third chapter. So, at the moment, what should we understand? There is nothing, there is no second thing other than Turiya. There is no second thing other than the Maker. As far as the dream world is concerned, there is no second thing other than Turiyam compared to the waking world. Turiyam absorbs everything to itself. That is its nature. Very, very brilliant point. Shankaracharya brings that out here. Like a magnet, it attracts everything. All the iron filings are all attracted by that Turiya. In science, in cosmology, you have the black hole theory. Black hole is where there's no light comes out of it. Similarly, is the same principle here. There is no ignorance. The darkness of ignorance is not there. So sleep also is not there in Turiya because it is always of the nature of consciousness. It is a way to understand our real nature. See, it's very easy to say, who am I? And then try to understand. But then, at who am I, a simple question has got a very, very deep meaning in it. And that you can only know when you study Mandukya Kārikā and Mandukya Bashyam. Turiyam cannot be contaminated by this ignorance or any misconception or any doubts you may have. You may have hundreds of doubts about this world. Nothing happens to Turiyam because it is of a higher order of reality. All your doubts in dream state, nothing is there in the waking state. So similarly, all the misconceptions you live with in the waking state, nothing is there in the Turiya. Like a pot. There is nothing called as a pot because it is all the time clay. Similarly, there's no waker dreamer sleeper, but there is always this Turiyam. Turiyam alone is a Satyam. Ignorance cannot contaminate this Turiyam, is the essential feature of this Sarvadrik. The 12th mantra, we are seeing it's a very important mantra. Understand our real nature. Go through these slides whenever you can. You will get a deeper absorption of whatever we are discussing in this mantra. When you go through this again and again, first time when you listen, yes, it gives you an idea. But later on, the moment, especially these paragraphs, if you try to understand what is this paragraph, it's saying about my real nature. Sada. Sada means it is always my nature. Consciousness is always my nature. All the time, there is nothing except this Turiyam. I am, I am, I am. That is why this I am, aham, is always present. You're always living in the present. Aham, aham, aham. If you are with aham, I am always living in the present. The moment your mind projects either the past or future, you are already in Dhyasa. Sarvancha tat gricha, karmadharya sapasa. So, since ignorance does not exist separate from Turiyam, therefore we say Turiyam is Sarvadrik. In the Turiyam, there is no seed of ignorance because ignorance cannot be together with knowledge. There is no ajnanam in Turiyam. What is the difference between Turiyam and Prajna? Sleeper is full of ignorance. Turiyam is no ignorance. Jiva is Turiyam, Paramatma after Jnanam. So till you get this jnanam of this Turiyam state of the seventh mantra, till it gets deep, till your intellect is able to absorb this Turiyam nature, till then you will still be living in ignorance. For many janmas, for many births, we have lived as waker, dreamer, sleeper. Again rebirth, waker, dreamer, sleeper. Again rebirth, waker, dreamer, sleeper. You are understanding now there is a new state, a new phenomena called as Turiyam of the seventh mantra. And knowing this gives me the freedom from identification with my mind as me. Many times we say disidentify with your body and mind. But how? How? These are the mantras you have studied. These are the commentaries you have studied in order to disidentify with the body mind as I. Here in the next paragraph, Shankaracharya quotes Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, 4th chapter, 3rd section, 23rd mantra. This is the Swayam Jyoti. The Swayam Jyoti Brahmana, the Swayam Jyoti Brahmanam in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad is the most important in the entire Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Nahi drashtur viparilopat vidyate. This word, this sentence, which comes in this particular mantra, it is $1 million sentence. It is so important. The entire Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, if you want to have one Tattvamasi like that in Chandogya Upanishad, this particular word, sentence, is so critical. Some of these Upanishads, they just make a statement, but when you analyze that statement, you will find it has got such a deep meaning connected with Turiya. Many people don't know how to understand mind and Sakshi. It's a very difficult exercise for the intellect to dwell on Sakshi, not to dwell on the mind. But only when you study this and understand the meaning of these verses, especially particular verse, Nahi drashtur drishte viparilopo vidyate. This is a verse from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. And this is the verse which I put. It is an exact verse picked up from the Upanishad. It says that this consciousness neither increases or decreases. It is never touched by anything, any evil action which you do. Even evil thoughts. You may have many, many thoughts, but nothing happens to this consciousness. And the one who sees this consciousness as his own self, he is the one who is liberated. He is the one who becomes free from doubts. He is the one who becomes free. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, the teacher, the student who is King Janaka, he says, I will surrender my whole kingdom because I have got this knowledge of Turiya. Even I will surrender myself because this knowledge is so powerful. I can get freedom from all the sorrows because they're all projections, anyata grahanam. See, now I can use the technical jargon with you because we have gone through this technical jargon. Anya grahanam, misconception is not there in Turiya. So Ajnani drops this ignorance and he becomes free. I've said this many times before. In the sun, there's no darkness in it at any time. Similarly, when you know I am Turiyam, your ignorance goes away forever because it is viruddha swabhava and I can remain as a Jivan Mukta. Jnanam and Ajnanam can coexist if they are two different orders, like the baker and the dreamer. Jnanam in one state, ignorance in another state. That is why I can say, in spite of the experiences of the world, I am free because there are two different levels. I am free is Paramarthika Satyam. I am involved in Vyavahara, that is a Vyavaharika Satyam. My Satyatvam does not depend on whether I am with Vyavahara or without Vyavahara. That is how a Jnani, he lives freely in the world because his knowledge is very, very powerful. He has got Turiyam knowledge. Okay. See, you can be sleeping in a dark room, but you can be dreaming of very bright daylight in your dream. So, dream and waking can mean because there are two different orders of reality. In Vichara Sagara, there is a, all of you know about that. There is there's an example there where it says that all the medicines in the waking state are of no use in the dream state. If you're sick in the dream state, nothing of the waking state medicine can help you. Similarly, waking state money cannot help you in the dream state. So whatever happens in the waking state, nothing is relevant in the dream state. That is how what we have to understand. Turiyam is never covered by ignorance, viparidopaha. It is never concealed by ignorance. During sleep, ignorance covers the Chaitanya. But when I am in the Paramarthika Satyam state of Turiyam, there is no covering of me, covering of ignorance. So all what we are saying is how I should get rid of ignorance from my intellect. You see, where is this ignorance? It is lying in my intellect. Now, what is the way to correct this ignorance? Study the 12th Kārikā and understand that I have a nature which is beyond this ignorance. So, Sarvadrik, again, Shankaracharya explains in another verse, 3.8.11 of Prajna Upanishad, and this uh, this verse also I will show it to you shortly. So here also Sarvadrik is explained. Sarvadrik means that seer is not a real seer, he is a seeming seer. See, the seerhood of Sakshi is a seeming. Why is it seeming? Because the world which you are experiencing is mithya. Suppose the word was Satyam, then you cannot call it a seer of the world because then there will be Dvaita. We say it is a seeming seer because it is always a seer of a higher order of reality and the world is mithya. If it is a real world, we cannot call it seeming seer. It will be real seer. Then it is Dvaita. Try to understand this. So, in order to understand the Turiyam, I must first of all know that the world is mithya. If I keep on saying word is Satyam, then you will never reach Turiya. This Brihadaranyaka Upanishad 3.8.11. Very beautiful words, other beautiful words. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Here, the nature of witness, it is never heard. Witness is never heard, but it is the hearer. It is never thought. Consciousness is never thought, but it is the thinker. It is never the known, but it is the knower. It is never the seen, but it is the seer. It is the power behind the eyes. We have seen this in Keno Upanishad. There is no other thinker, no other seer, there is no other knower except this one consciousness which is unmanifest in all bodies. There's only one consciousness. That consciousness is Turiyam. Because the world is mithya, therefore we say it is a seeming seer. It gets then all this theory of abhasa and all we put in. It is a reflection. It is not a real. It is not the whole. The maker is not, the ego is a chaya. All these principles we build on this one fact. The fact is what Jagat world is mithya. It is seeming, and whatever we connect with the world, including ignorance and knowledge, is all anatma. Okay. Now, this is a revision slide. Uh, Kārikā number 10, 11, and 12, they deal with Turiya Atma. There is a comparison, contrast of the four padas that we have done. There is ignorance, there is no ignorance, there is adhyasa, there is no adhyasa. Turiyam is always free from anyata grahanam, which is called as adhyasa. This all we have covered so far. And Sarvadrik also we have taken up. It has got the meaning of Shashti Tatpurusha Samasa, which is a conventional meaning. It is seer of everything. The special meaning is it is the Sat principle. It is everything. That is what we have seen. There is nothing else except Turiyam. That is, any relationship will require two, but Turiyam is Asangaha. Asangaha means it is alone is. It is two words, world and consciousness. They are two words, but actually speaking, there is only one consciousness, like pot and clay. Pot and clay, uh, it is two words, but actually only clay exists. So similarly, we must understand this nature of Turiyam in this way. In the fourth chapter, there is a verse which I have given here, which is very similar to what we study in Gita also, the second chapter. The unreal cannot have unreal thing for its cause. The real thing uh, cannot be a cause of anything else. I mean, it's a very similar thing which we have already studied, where because world is mithya, we cannot say that Turiyam is a cause of anything. It is not a cause. It is a seeming cause. Okay. Sarvadrik, Sarvabhuta Avastha, we have explained. Turiyam is associated with Ajnanam. Okay. How do I understand this mithya status? Suppose you have a fake 500 rupee note or a 1,000 rupee note, fake. Now you cannot use it. So similarly, if this whole universe is only appearing, then you should know what is Satyam. There is a substratum which is required for every mithya vastu. That's a substratum is this Sakshi. Without this substratum, we cannot have the mithya world. Mahavakyam has to be understood in this fashion. Between Satyam and Mithya, because world is Mithya and Turiyam alone is Satyam. Therefore, Tattvamasi, when you say Tattvamasi means you are that Turiyam. That is what is said in Chandogya. Okay. Shvetashvatara Upanishad, there is a quotation which Shankaracharya quotes, which says that it is free from all the three gunas. See, so much of analysis Shankaracharya does in his commentary. He brings in so many different Upanishadic mantras. He gives us a link between the different Upanishads and what this Kārikā number 12 is. So we have finished today the 12th Kārikā. Next week we will start the 13th Kārikā. These Karikas, last week also, I just had one Karika for one full session. So 11th, we did 11th last week. This week we did the 12th. Next week we are going to do the 13th Karika. All these are analysis of the three stages. There is an element called as ignorance. I have to remove that ignorance from my intellect. This way of analysis of the three states is the only way to remove ignorance of our real nature. So the seventh mantra, which I said is the most important of the whole Upanishad of the 12 mantras, we are studying the seventh mantras commentary in this with this deep analysis. So I will stop here, and next week we will start with the 13th Kārikā. And now, if you have any questions of this, whatever we have studied today, these are all, as I've said, very deep, thoughtful nature of contemplations. When you go through these in the sessions, you will hear a lot of new terms, new things, but ultimately, they all have to go into your own subconscious. In the sessions, you will hear it, but a time will come when these thought process they start working deep inside your mind. Projections of the mind. I am the consciousness. Everything else is a projection. The whole world is a projection. All these are new thoughts. They are all new streams. They are new grooves in your mind. They will sink in. As you study more and more of this Upanishad, you will get more and more knowledge about your own nature and what you're experiencing, your own nature and how you're experiencing the world. Okay. All right. Oh, Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyare Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyade. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. There's nothing in the chat box, so I will open up for the question and answer. If you have if you have any questions on what we discussed in the class, or if you have any other questions, you can ask the same. We'll start with Vishal, and then I'll come to Nandu. Vishal, go ahead.
Sir, sir, I understand that in the waking state there is ignorance plus projection. That's very clear. I also understand that in the sleep state there is ignorance but no projection. That is clear. Now the dream state is my question. I understand there's ignorance. Then what about the projection? That because now we are dreaming, so eyes are closed. So the projection is an internal projection in the sense of a dream, or what? Because there also we have ignorance plus projection in the dreaming state.
See, the projection means it is a projection of the mind. All the things which you see in the dream, what is it? Are you seeing the actual objects? We are going to analyze this dream state in a very big way in the following sections. We are going to see this analysis of the dream. What is the dream? How do we experience the dream? What is going to come? But right now, let us try to understand what is a dream. Dream is the only state where I can see the functioning of the mind, which is projecting all the things which I'm experiencing. In the waking state, I can understand that is a world outside. But in the later commentary of fourth chapter, we will have a different view of waking state also. But coming back to dream, main thing you should understand is in the waking state, I really don't know what is this mind. See, mind is invisible. Mind is invisible to all, but we know that we have thoughts. We know that we are seeing the world. But how do we see the world? It is because all the impressions from all the objects are brought by the sense organs into our mind. It is the mind which is taking all the stimuli from the external world, and it is the Sakshi which is illumining the mind in the waking state. This how we understand waking state.
Yes, sir.
What happens in the dream state? Our sense organs are closed. There is no external objects possible because my ears are closed, my eyes are closed, my tongue doesn't taste, everything, all the five sense organs are closed. My body is breathing. So the breath keeps my body alive. Physiologically, all my digestive systems, all are functioning. That is the concept of the prana. In the dream state, the mind wakes up. Like the mind wakes up in the waking state, the mind wakes up in the dream state. But in the dream state, the only difference is sense organs are completely shut and the mind is projecting the vasanas, which it has gathered during the waking state. All the impressions gathered in the waking state are collected in the Karana Shariram and it is projected. Same things happening in the waking also. It is the Karana Sharirams which is projecting all the objects in the world and all the thoughts in the mind. That we'll come to it later on. But now the question is, what is this dream state? In the dream state, you must understand mind is involved. It is the mind which is projecting all the objects. The mind becomes the experiencer and it also is becomes the objects which is experiencing. That means there is a division of the mind, the consciousness, which divides itself into two, the experiencer and the experience. Both are the mind only. When do we say this? Only after waking up in the waking state. We say, oh, there was nothing in my dream, in the dream world. But everything was what? It was a projection of my mind.
So in a way, waking state is dreaming with eyes open.
That is what Shankaracharya will prove in the end. I don't want to say it today, but that is the truth.
Thank you, sir. Point taken.
Very good. Okay, Nandu, you have a question?
Yeah, Hariom sir. Just when we say about like Prajna state is like with ignorance, and whereas in like Shloka 5 and especially in Mantra 6 of Mandukya Upanishad, we learn that like Esha Sarveshwara, Esha Sarvadna. So here like I have that doubt about like contradicting thing, and I'm sure there might be something like of the 9th chapter, Shloka 4 and 5 difference. So maybe something similar like that here. Because in one place we are saying like Sarvadnya Sarveshwar, whereas Prajna state we are saying as like ignorance.
Okay. Okay, good. It's a good question. See, we must remember that whenever the Upanishad or the Bhagavad Gita is talking about Srishti and the experience of Srishti, it is the first stage of teaching. It is Adhyaropa stage. the waking state, dream state, sleep state are all described in this fashion, especially the fifth. See, in the fifth and the sixth mantra of Mandukya Upanishad, what you should keep in mind is the sleep state is the Karana Avastha. And the waking state and the dream state is Karya Avastha. Karanam and Karya. Karanam means the sleep state where Antaryami Ishvara is there. Ishvara is the projector of the waking and dream states through his Maya Shakti. Sarvavit, Sarvajna belongs, it is a qualification given to Bhagavan, who is in the sixth mantra as Antaryami. So Prajna and Antaryami is a cause for the projection of waking and dream. That is how you understand the three states. Okay. Now, this is Adhyaropa stage. This is for a junior student. When your mind has understood this, that there is a cause, there is an Ishvara who is there in the Karana Avastha, who is there in the sleep state. I am one with that Ishvara. I, the Jiva, I become one. I merge in with the Ishvara in the sleep state. And it is the Ishvara which is giving me the karma phalam. That karma phalam expresses as the waking and the dream state for the Jiva who has the knowledge that I am one with Ishvara. It is Ishvara. This is all Adhyaropa. These are all the teaching of the Upanishad. This is called Shrishti. This is that the world is in me. The fourth mantra of the ninth chapter. This is all Adhyaropa. So understand Adhyaropa as a first stage of teaching. Now, once you come to the seventh mantra of the Upanishad, you are going beyond Karanam and Karyam. The Upanishad says there is something which is beyond this Karanam and Karyam. Karanam and Karyam is only in the relative states of waking, dream, and sleep. But there is an absolute state which never changes. See, that is what in the 12th mantra which we did today, it is an analysis of comparison between sleep state and this Turiyam state. Many people are not aware. See, there is confusion regarding sleep, waking, and dream. That is one confusion. But there is a second confusion about the sleep and Turiyam. Now, that confusion you have to remove in order to arrive at your free state of moksha. This confusion you must get away from. This is a very important analysis. That is the fifth mantra of ninth chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Nachamastani bhutani. That means, what does it, Lord Krishna say? The whole world which you are talking about is not in me. Nachamastani, it is not me. It is only an appearance. So the first three, the waking, dream, sleep, is Adhyaropa stage. It is there, but it is appearance. It is not a real creation. It is an unreal creation, which Gaudapada Acharya will take it up in the next chapter, chapter number 2, Vaitatya Prakanam. He will give us the full analysis of why do we say this waking, dream, and sleep is an unreal creation. It is an unreal world, but Atma, only this Turiya Atma, when you come to this Turiya, then only we can say this waking, dream, and sleep is unreal. Till the time you have to say all this is real, and Lord is the creator, he is the karma phaladata. So your question was the nature of Atma is Ishvara is Sarvavid Sarvajnaha. as Antaryami. Then the next level is higher level. Same Lord who is Sagunam has got a Nirguna Avastha also. His Nirguna Avastha is neither a Karana, neither a Karana. It is independently existing principle. Only by knowing this Turiyam, Nirguna Vastu, I will get moksha. Till then, there is no moksha. This is the Mahavakyam. I must drop the three states, even Ishvara, Jiva, Jagat. All three is mithya when you are looking at it from Turiyam point of view. At Turiyam level, there is no world. There is only Turiyam. There is only consciousness. At that level only we say that all the three is mithya, and when I identify with that Turiyam and say, I am the Turiyam, I am Atma Turiyam, then we can drop these other three states and we say they are all mithya. This concept of mithya, keep it at the back of your mind. Mithya means adhyasa. Adhyasa means appearance. Appearance means dream. Keep this line of thought in your mind. Mithya means adhyasa. Adhyasa means appearance. Appearance means dream. So, like we say, the dream which I had yesterday is gone. Tomorrow morning, the waking state is also gone. Today's waking state is gone. What happened in the waking state yesterday? Nothing is remaining today. It's gone. Again, another new waking state will come. All these three states are dancing in consciousness. They are appearing, disappearing, manifesting, unmanifesting. Manifesting, unmanifesting is called as Prakriti, Maya Shakti. This Maya Shakti is not different from Turiyam. It is Turiyam only which is in which all this is happening. Anyway, this is the way you have to, Nandu, it's a good question, very, very deep question, but there's a lot of knowledge which comes in Mandukya Upanishad. Gradually, we will understand step by step. Slowly, we will rise to the level of Turiya. At this stage, you have started getting a glimpse of the Turiya, and your questions are telling me, yes, your mind is working. Good. Keep your mind working and let it analyze it in the way you're doing it now. Good. Thank you. Have you understood, Nandu?
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think
Okay.
accepting Ishvara as a mithya, I think that is always challenge for each and everyone, I believe.
Absolutely. Because you see, Ishvara is God. How to take it as mithya? That keep it at the mind. It is said in Mandukya Upanishad. What we have to understand is Ishvara's appearance in the world is mithya, but he has a higher nature, which is Satya, which is the ever existing, which is ever existing, which is so powerful and so divine. It is knowing that Nirguna Turiyam Atma, which is a higher order. See, always remember, you will get moksha only when you know it is higher order. Don't bring the Turiyam into the level of Jiva Jagat Ishvara in the transactional field. Always let your mind glide into the higher level and say that that is the reality. That is whatever your mind can fathom. Drop the entire experiences. Whatever is that is the experiencer, the ultimate truth of the whole universe and of the Shakti of that consciousness in this body-mind complex. Okay, anybody else has a question?
So one more question, little different. Can I ask?
Yeah,
So
go ahead.
the little differences. So does that mean that on the planet where we stay physically, at the same place, same place where I'm sitting, there are other worlds vibrating at higher orders, and therefore at different higher frequencies, multiple earths or whatever, multiple jagats,
Galaxies, universes,
huh,
they're all there,
they're all there,
right? Yes.
right where we are, but they're just vibrating, and therefore both can exist together because they are at a different order, like you rightly said, and they can, and therefore they're not in opposition or variance or in contrast to each other because they are vibrating at different frequencies at different orders. Therefore, you can have multiple universes, multiple things at the same place.
Yes. See, time and place are relative concepts.
Right.
See, time and space are relative concepts. See, for a person who lives in the US, it's daytime now. For a person who is living in Singapore, it is nighttime. It is relative. Wherever the body is, you see a different time, a different experience. Now, your question whether at the same time, at the same place, are there different universes? The answer is yes. All the 14 lokas which the Bhagavatam talks about, they all exist right now. But as you said correctly, my sense organs cannot perceive it, but it exists. See, consciousness also exists. My sense organs cannot perceive that consciousness. Similarly, we have to accept that all the 14 lokas, the jivas, they all are there. But my sense organs are very, very limited to know this. Only the Veda can reveal this to me. And Veda does reveal about multiple universes existing at the same time. See, the whole concept of cosmology is accepted by Veda. Only thing is, like you said very clearly, consciousness is at a higher level. All the lokas are at a lower level. Whatever may be the loka, it is mithya. Swarga is also mithya. Heaven is also mithya, according to Veda, because it is anitya. You may get Swarga because you have done a lot of rituals in this world. You go to Swarga Loka, you get a different body. You have a different environment. All this is said by Veda, but I don't go after it. I accept it and I say, I am that pure Atma consciousness in which all these are there. That is what gives me moksha. That is what gives me the ultimate fulfillment in life. Good, Vishal, good question. But the answer is all from the Veda.
So thank you so much, sir. Every day there's one step forward, and it's all because of you. I feel blessed. Love you, sir.
Good. Thank you. Vijay, you have a question? Vendesh, I'll come back to you.
Yeah.
Hari Om, Shekharji.
Yeah.
This is from the earlier question on the different names that we give to the Lord, especially from the Saguna point of view or the Nirguna point of view. I want to just connect two verses from Bhagavad Gita and then take your perspective on these two. So when we, even in the Saguna also, the way we worship people, worship the Lords for different purposes, worship the Lords in different kind of spheres that we know, the Lord himself actually answers to us. I'm not sure if that's what I can consider. He, in 9:24, he says, Aham hi sarva yajnanam bhukta cha prabhavevacha natu mam abhijananti tatve nadastascha vantite. So I am the enjoyer, I'm a Lord of all sacrifices, but they do not know me in reality as a supreme deity. That's one connect I have. You may want to correct my understanding. And then in Purushottama Yoga in 15:18, I think he says, since I am the wholly beyond the perishable world of matter of Kshetra, I am superior even to the imperishable soul. Hence, I am known as the Purushottama in the world. as well as in the Vedas. So the Brahman, which we are trying to, Turiya, rather, I could say, rightly. So he is actually talking about this from the Brahman where Maya and Ishvara comes, and Ishvara has the Mayapati, he is the holder and the controller of the Maya. But that Ishvara is also a subset of the Brahman, and Brahman is the Purushottama, who is as a Maya Sat Asat Vilakshana, he's beyond all that. He's just the fact of the mere Sat Chit Ananda, the presence. His presence alone is enough for his existence, and he is above the perishable, imperishable world, as we call it, as Turiya Atma, who is the Sakshi or witness. Is these two verses help us understand the first question which was asked?
Yeah, good. Both the verses you have quoted are very relevant verses to understand the nature of Ishvara. In one verse, first verse which you quoted, that is the 9th verse, the 24th verse in the 9th chapter, there the context is more to do with worship and more to do with how, as a jiva, whenever we are worshipping a devata, the Lord says, all that which you worship with the devata, ultimately I am the one who gets the where the worship comes to me only. So because I am the karma phala data of this entire universe. So 24th verse talks about the Ishvaratvam of Ishvara, who is the Antaryami, who is inside inside all of us. Sitting inside all of us, he is giving each one of us our own karma phala. Whatever I'm experiencing as sukham or dukkham, it is my own karma which is coming back in the form of my husband, in the form of my son, in the form of my friends, in the form of different people. So the 24th mantra is clear. It is the Saguna version. Now, the 15th chapter, the 18th verse which you're quoting is that Uttama Purusha context. In that context, it is more to do with the Advaita Vedanta, where we are discussing Turiya. So when we are discussing Mandukya Upanishad, the Turiyam 7th mantra, we should look more at the 15th chapter, 18th mantra, where it says, I am the Uttama Purusha. There is nothing beyond me. There is nothing beyond Turiya. In fact, this is one of the verses which I want to take for meditation because it's a very good for meditation. One of the best verses for meditation in Bhagavad Gita is this mantra, where the Lord says, I am the ultimate Purusha. There is nothing beyond me. He's talking about the Paramarthika Satyam. See, in the relative world, there is perishable and imperishable. Something which is slightly more, with reference to perishable only, we can say it is imperishable. Mind is a little bit more imperishable compared to the body. Mind keeps on taking more and more births. The whole Srishti also becomes perishable at a higher level. So, body is at one level, it is perishable. The imperishable is relatively imperishable, but the ultimate thing is neither coming in the form of perishable or imperishable. It is beyond both because it is always, it is Nitya. Extremely good references, Vijay. I'm glad you brought both these verses from the Bhagavad Gita. Thank you. Is it clear, Vijay?
Yes, thank you very much, Shekharji. Very, very clear. Thank you very,
good.
very much.
Thank you. Venkatesh, you have something?
Yeah, I just thought of highlighting another step forward. Today we have this Kārikā 12. This really one extraordinary clarification what we could see, particularly during the sleep state and that Turiyam. So both are like uncognized, not recognized, not knowingness is there actually, but one is mithya included and another is mithya excluded. So the way the clarification this Kārikā 12 covers is really amazing. And I could see that in this Bhashyam, particularly in Kārikā 12, Turiyam alone exists. That is the emphasis which is given. Everything exists, the Sat principle basically, everything exists within Turiyam only. Whether you take a waking state, it exists. And sleep state, it exists. Dream state, it exists. Everything exists in that Turiyam. So that is that Sat principle which has been given. This reminds me of the Chandogya Upanishad, where so much emphasis is given. Ekam eva advitiyam.
Correct. Yes.
Not only advitiyam is there, but it's a ekam eva. Eva has been given so much emphasis. I mean, that suddenly reminds like nothing exists. Only Turiyam exists actually. That's the emphasis what I see in this Kārikā 12. The way the Shankaracharya's Bhashyam is amazing actually, which clarifies going through this sleep and this like Sabija, Nirbija, Saguna, Nirguna, everything has been so beautifully given, that how the whole scenario, the whole principle of Antaryami and all, so beautifully is given actually. I mean, the moksha is only in that Nirguna Brahma, that absolute consciousness. That's what is ultimate everything actually. So it's really very beautiful. Kārikā 12 is amazing actually. I could see the ultimate.
Yeah,
Really.
I'm glad
Yeah.
you're enjoying these Karikas, because you're one who has done the entire Mandukya Upanishad with me before. So now you can see
Yeah.
the difference in these verses of Karikas and Bhashyam. So it's Bhashyam study is a very different type of study. It is a
Yeah.
slow study, but very deep study.
And
It's
also when we go through this Bhashyam, we could see lot of clarification eventually gets opened up in the Bhagavad Gita, the various, whether it's a 13th chapter, 5th chapter, 9th
correct.
chapter,
Yes.
all that we suddenly feel, oh, it's really that Dwa principle, it really comes out actually. Such a extraordinary, particularly the sleep and this one, the Kārikā 12 is very amazing. It really, we need to go through in detail once again, and the explanation is amazing actually.
Mm.
Very
No,
convincing, very
anybody
scientific.
anybody who's, I mean, it's extremely scientific. You see, that's
Very scientific, yeah. That's
the
what.
beauty
Yeah.
of Shankaracharya. He makes it look so scientific. Everything is technically, if it is understood, technical Vedanta, if it is understood, it is science. There is nothing, no difference between, for example, when you say agrahanam, anyada grahanam, this is what is happening inside our mind.
Yeah.
Now, so beautifully, the whole concept of life is explained in two words: agrahanam, anyada grahanam. The whole life is nothing but anyada grahanam. Every day I'm projecting. But why am I projecting? Because I don't know I'm Turiya, Ajnana, Agrahanam. I mean, it's amazing how two words of
Yeah.
Shankaracharya can give us the whole depth of these Upanishads.
And I also see, like in the very beginning, in one of the Karikas of Gaudapada, where they have said that, like the four padas are to be considered not like four padas of cow, actually. It's a part of a 1 rupee coin, where everything is a part
One
of it,
coin
actually.
with two sides.
Yeah, one coin with two sides. So that, I mean, that is further clarified in this particular Karika.
Correct, yes.
So very
No,
beautiful
there's a
Karika.
lot of
Yeah.
more clarity will come. You're just touching the iceberg, the tip of the iceberg now. There is so much to cover. This is just, you are enjoying it because we are just starting this logical analysis. There is a
It's
lot.
very logic. It's extremely scientific. That's what I could say. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Venkatesh.
Hari
Shanta,
Om,
you have a
Hari
question?
Om, yeah.
Hari Om, thank you.
It was a rather very beautiful session. I must say, as you know, as Venkatesh said, and can't emphasize enough, it was one of the questions where we talked about this. Somebody asked, I think it was Venkatesh as well, about the frequency. It's just different frequency brand where you have the different lokas, and everything exists in same place but at different frequency levels, right? Um, so your Bhuloka and your, say Swargaloka, maybe same place, but as long as you're on a different frequency, you could be seeing, because of the limited limitations of our indriyas, we can see the Bhuloka. But if our indriyas had a different Jyoti, we would have been in Swargaloka. I don't know.
Yeah, you're
The
right.
the
That's
reason,
self-understanding.
yeah,
Perception, yeah.
yeah. So, what my point, I mean, what I'm trying to find out now from my question is, in say Bhagavad Gita, or during Mahabharata, or Treta Yuga, people used to travel from one loka to another. It is said, okay. Um, Now I want to know that if they were in Bhuloka and they could travel to say Svargaloka. Even in Mahabharata, we know that Arjun has to go and collect all the um, siddhis and all the weapons from Lord to fight the war. So how is it that when you are in meditation, or when you acquire those the frequencies, or whatever you call it, or you come to the Turiya state, you are able to actually switch frequencies, and that is how people used to travel in the past from one local to another. I'm just inquisitive to know this.
Okay. See, this question is more to do with siddhas. See,
Yeah.
there are a group of people. Suppose you're interested in only getting siddhas, that means power, a shakti.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there are certain rituals, there are certain mantras which you, if you go in that path, you can also get those powers. But Lord Krishna and the Veda, they teach us that those powers are not permanent.
Mm-hmm.
And the relative powers, it will go away from you. So don't work for those powers. It is seekers of Vedanta should focus more on Brahman and Turiyam and how to get rid of this ignorance rather than focus on. See, the entire Bhagavatam is
Yeah.
full of different types of powers.
Mm-hmm.
So many things are written in Bhagavatam and also in Mahabharata, which when you learn,
Mm-hmm.
so many different characters had so many different powers.
Mm-hmm.
But those powers, yes, your question is, are they true? Yes, they are true.
Okay.
It is possible to get those powers. With
Oh,
with
Siddhas.
mantras and certain herbs, you can get powers to even live a long life. Like you do simple pranayama, you will find by that way your mind is becoming more clear. Simple.
Mm-hmm.
You are, if you do a simple pranayama, you can see that there is a slightly additional power you have of having clarity of thought. Now, similarly, there are so many things which individual mind
Mm-hmm.
body can do in this different loka. That is why you have different lokas. The 14 lokas are nothing but different powers of
Levels
the
of the
body
mind
and the
itself,
mind.
actually. Yeah. No, the reason why I thought was because we are born in Kali Yuga, and people who are born in Satyuga or Treta Yuga, uh, it was seamless for them to go from one loka to another. Whereas we being in Kali Yuga, is it that, so, I mean, we don't have those powers. I'm not thinking of getting those or trying to aspire to have them. But what I'm
Yeah.
trying to see is uh, when it was Satyuga or Treta Yuga or Dwapar Yuga, people, when they were going from one, meaning, were they designed? I'm talking from the point of view of design of a human being, so were they designed to do everything? Whereas as we went from, say, Satya Yuga and come down to Kali Yuga, we kept on losing those powers as a
Yeah.
result
You
of
see, the
using them and
Puranas,
exhausting the
yeah.
punyas. I don't know what it is.
No, no. You see, the Puranas, they do talk of the four yugas. they do talk of the differences of human beings in all the four yugas. Now, the differences are because of the punya papa phalam, which comes up, which has a basic raw material which is used to create that particular srishti. Every srishti is based on the sanchita karma, which has to be exhausted via prarabdha karma in a particular srishti. So, one srishti, yes, it could have had certain powers in the body mind complex, and the srishti could have been given. So, there is a possibility for those things to exist. That is scriptures tell us. But again and again, in each of these yuga, whether it is Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, or Kali Yuga, human beings have an opportunity to learn the Veda and get moksha. In all the yugas, there have been people, there have been, you see, we are only small individuals in a particular yuga. Now, in all the yugas, there are people who say in Kali Yuga you do only japa or bhajan and then you'll get moksha. That is a little bit too far fetched. Ultimately, this if you study the scriptures, they say that the Purushartha called as moksha exists in all the yugas for all the individuals, and moksha Purushartha is only possible through jnana. Whether you are in Treta Yoga, Satya Yoga, or Dwapara Yoga, or Kali Yoga,
moksha was possible everywhere.
moksha is only possible through Brahma Vidya.
So why? I mean, I have also, but just what you mentioned, I've also heard, and some of these my people I know who go to these gurus, and they say nama japa and this japa is alone enough to achieve moksha. And I find, how is it possible? Because they are living in the Dvaitam.
Correct.
So, and they don't seem to. When I mean, I just had a discussion with one of these person who's with a guru, and the guru has to just do nama japa, and that is any time, all the time you do. I said, but that is only going to purify your mind. It is so that you come to Vedanta. So it is not going to lend you to moksha, because until unless you learn that about Advaitam, you're not going to be free. But they
Correct. You
don't
see,
seem
the
to be
concept of
told that.
Advaitam, you see, the concept of Advaitam is not understood by many, many people. See, when you do Brahma Sutra, you'll come to realize this. Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaiseshika, these are all the different minds
Schools.
which existed during Shankaracharya's time. Similar mindsets are also available even today. Now, in today's world, also, there are all types of mindsets. Somebody will say, only do yoga, you'll get moksha. You do Kundalini yoga, you'll get moksha. Somebody will say, sound, music yoga. Keep on listening to music, you will get moksha. So, different schools of thoughts are there, but let us not get carried away by them. We would like to study what Shankaracharya has said and what the Upanishads are revealing. When you come to
Yeah,
study
that is
Upanishads,
what I feel, that because I find it's much more comfortable to understand about Advaitam to get the moksha, because you can see it. I mean, I don't know, not see it as in, you can recognize that the whole world, we can, comprehend by only learning, listening to these talks, I mean, which I'm listening to you, is that Advaitam alone exists. There is that Dvaitam is never going to lend you to moksha. I mean,
yeah,
this is becoming very clear, and that is why when I talk to such people who have got these gurus who tell them that, oh, nama japa will lend you to moksha, I just find how stupid can they be? I'm trying to tell, and they don't seem to understand. They still, and I,
don't try to convince. They
and
will
they
never get
are
convinced.
yeah, no, and one of them is I was traveling with one of the ladies when I went to Vaishno Devi, and she was traveling to Vaishno Devi, but she had no interest. I mean, she was not even, she was only with her guru, which was all the time. And for her, she has surrendered everything to Guru. I said, that is fine, but you have to go beyond one step to get that moksha, because you're still considering Guru as your God. And there is Dvaitam, because you and the Guru. And that has to merge, because you have to merge into Turiyam, then only you will get the moksha. But I think that school of thought, I sort of walked away, or I don't even want
Yeah.
to discuss with them anymore now.
Just a minute,
Yeah,
just a minute.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Shanta. So I
Yeah, so
agree
I
with
have,
you.
so I have walked away. But just to, since you touched upon it, that people are saying there are different ways, but I didn't believe it was possible. So thank you.
And then just to add, can I just say
Yeah, go
something?
ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. No, actually, like we have to consider this is like a continuous evolution of the mind, actually. So initially, I mean, I was just going through few the articles and things and all. What I just seen, like Dvaitam is like a very initial stage, actually, where we will be going when there is a evolution of the mind with the more and more knowledge and all, more clarity. Then we go into the Visishta, and then we get into that Advaitam. Advaitam is the ultimate truth, actually. But knowing the truth, definitely we need to have that knowledge. So it's like a continuous evolution of the mind. I was just seeing one Swamiji was explaining this Atma Bodha, one particular word. I think eighth or ninth somewhere, that anuchutyam. So he was taking an example with reference to this Dvaitam and Advaitam, giving that context of water and the wave, in the ocean and the wave, actually. So that word Anuchutyam, it seems it means like what we generally see wave and ocean as different, because when we just see it is the waves are coming and it's just disappearing, coming and disappearing. This is what is happening, actually. But what we need to see is that wave is continuous in connection with the ocean. It is not separate from the ocean. And what is that part which is containing in both of them is that water content, actually. So if you see from the Advaita point of view, everything is water. If you see from the Dvaita point of view, you're seeing the same thing. But if you're seeing from the Dvaita, you see both as different, actually.
Ocean, waves, and so many different
Yeah,
things.
so it is only the level of perception. It's all part of the mind. So that word Anuchupyati, what it says is, when your mind evolves, when it can able to recognize that everything is like spot space and the outer space, it's only conditioning. It's all conditioning of the mind only. Basically, there is no difference, actually. So this is conditioning is what Bhanda, ignorance, or whatever you consider. This is all trick of the mind. So once this is realized, that's where that block gets disappear.
Yeah.
So
Thank
nothing
you
is
very
right,
much.
yeah, nothing is wrong, but it's only a gradual process of evolution of the mind.
Okay. Yeah, Vijay has got something to say. Vijay.
Yeah, Hari Om, Charan Sparsh. I think what Venkatesh ji said is absolutely right. So it is not that there is only one way for the. In fact, Turiyam is beyond moksha. That's what he says in na baddha na moksha sivananda rupaha shivoham shivoham. So you are not even aspiring for moksha. Aspiring for moksha also becomes a desire when we come at the stage of Turiyam. So from that point of view, there are many acharyas, many gurus who are prescribing. It's all customized. That's the reason why they say that you need to have a guru. That's where I come from. For us to, yeah, it is extremely. I have a guru, and I would definitely do the japa. Or that's the reason why I take up chanting, is because chanting helps me to settle my mind. When my mind is settled, my jnana goes straight inside. With the murkiness in the glass, I can't see my clear reflection. That's why Guru says, and Guru knows, as Venkatesh rightly said, each of us have our own plane of consciousness at where we transact. So depending upon that, the Guru would give in. And he says in chapter 10 of Bhagavad Gita, Buddhi Yoga Dadhavite, he himself gives that Buddhi. Imagine rishis and munis at the age of 7 going into, suddenly they are with all the jnana. How is it this coming? It's over a period of time. It's an evolution of your mind and how in the plane of consciousness that it transacts, it comes. So if the prescription is for namajapa, so be it, because their mind is still needs to get that clarity. So they have to do that. And if it is for bhajan, they will do, because Navavida Bhakti in Bhagavatam gives that age of 7 and 6, how Prahlada and how Dhruva could get a enchanted vision of the Lord. I am not able to get that today because my mind is still full of murk. So I think some of these processes are involved so that it prepares our mind to be getting the readiness. Because Uttishta Sadhaka, Tattvamasi means immediately Uddalaka and Shvetakeshu got the knowledge. But Shekharji is being roaring over ages and years and years of Tattvamasi. I'm still not able to get the jnana because I'm still caught up in the world of materialism. So a long way for me to go. So all the sadhanas I take up. So we don't know where the mind gets dusted, which broom helps to clear the murk in my mind. So that's where I stop. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Vijay.
That's
Thank
very
you.
beautifully put, Vijayaji.
The Sekharji's Advaitam is, I know that Svetaketu, what he says, what is that knowing which everything is known?
Absolutely.
So that
Yeah.
is what is the real moksha. This is the highest knowledge what we are having, and we should be very thankful to Sekharji for
Absolutely.
bringing such a extraordinary knowledge. Actually, I mean,
Okay.
I know how much
Yeah.
effort he was putting to bring this into the surface and all, and we happen to enjoy all this actually, but very, very difficult. Initially, we used to have a real tough time to get through, but now, of course, we are enjoying all this jnana knowledge and all.
Yeah.
So this is
Absolutely.
fantastic. It's a lot of, it's a gradual evolution. That's how we have to consider.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you,
Hari
both
Om.
of you,
Yeah.
Thank
Vijay
you.
and Ganesh. Ganesh also says in the chat box that Ramaji, Hanumanji asked Rama about which Upanishad I should select, which is one Upanishad. And it was Lord Rama who said, the Mandukya Upanishad.
Mandukya
Yeah.
Upanishad.
And
Yeah.
then out of 108 Upanishads, Hanumanji was taught Mandukya Upanishad. And he said in Treta Yuga also, it is same Mandukya Upanishad. Now also what we are doing is the same Mandukya Upanishad. See, this Mandukya Upanishad it's a marvel. It's a unique Upanishad. It has got a direct link to moksha. According to me, it's really marvelous. Let's keep our study going. And every section, you can see there is some evolution of the mind. Like Venkatesh and Vijay have said, it's a slow, gradual pickup. And before you see towards the end of the Upanishad in the 4th chapter, when you come, you feel so relieved. I have understood everything of the 4 chapters. Whatever Shankaracharya has to explain, my intellect has been able to pick it up. So that is the satisfaction which you get when you complete the study of Mandukya. And let us try and progress further. These Kārikas are amazing.
Yeah.
See, each Kārikā, when you do it, you suddenly feel, yes, there is something called as Turiyam. There is something. And then the way Shankaracharya puts it, your intellect knows how to reach that Turiyam. See, that is the beauty part of it. See, otherwise, when we study a mantra of a Upanishad, we are not able to go so deep. But when we do a Kārikā, what happens is, when you do a commentary of Shankaracharya, we know how this mantra has to be opened up. How my intellect should be able to understand this mantra. So anyway, this is a blessing for us to study this text, and let's move forward. Okay, you will stop here, and we'll continue next week. And let me go to the next Kārikā. I hope every session at least we can do one Kārikā, so that after these Kārikas, there is going to be the 8th mantra of Upanishad, where we are going to do Omkara Vichara.
Yeah.
So that is going to be another brilliant section, which is Omkara Vichara, how to do Omkara meditation. And the last mantra, 12th mantra of Amatra Omkara, Shankaracharya, he links the 7th mantra to the Omkara
Omkara,
silence. And he says,
I'm
you have
looking
understood
forward.
the A mantra, it is the same as what you have understood as the Turiya. And for all this, the commentaries are what makes the whole Upanishad reveal to us uh, the, the brilliance of the ultimate truth. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. And all of you, namaste. I wish you a great day.
Hari Om. Yeah.
Hari Om.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Hari Om, Shekharji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hari Om, Dhanyawad.